And this is the last section of the course. To wrap it up, we're talking about pricing and support. How does Azure calculate the billing for its resources? What options are available to you? Does Microsoft make and have promises around uptimes of its services, and what happens if they don't meet their promises on that? All of those questions and more will be answered in this section. First up, let's talk about subscriptions. So we're moving on here to the fourth and final section of the AZ900 exam, which is to understand Azure pricing and support, and that is worth 20 to 25% of the exam score. You can see on screen the requirements of the exam. It covers things such as understanding Azure subscriptions, how you plan and manage the costs, whether you use the pricing calculator or using the Azure free account, etc. The support options that are available with Azure, how you can sign up for a support plan, and what you get with each level of support. Service level agreements, SLAs. So Azure provides guarantees, financial guarantees for its services, for many of its services. So the understanding how to find about those. And finally, the service lifecycle of Azure features. So when Azure releases feature updates, how they go through private preview, public preview, general availability, etc. So that's what we're going to cover in this section. So let's start with the basics. Azure subscription. The Azure subscription is a sort of a fundamental billing unit within Microsoft Azure. So you're going to create an account for yourself. Maybe other people within your organization will also create their own accounts, but you would all be under the same subscription, and all of the resources that are used is going to get bubbled up, if you will, to the subscription level. So as a user, you could have access to one or more subscriptions. So if you need to separate out projects, clients, customers, departments into their own subscription, the same user account can be used to access all of them if you set it up correctly. And when you go on to create resources, you'll be asked for which subscription to create them in. Like I said, all resources consumed under that subscription get billed to the owner of that subscription. You'll set up the billing plan. And so whether it's a credit card or an enterprise agreement or however that gets set up, it goes to the subscription level. Now you can create multiple subscriptions. And if you do this, it's another level of organization that you can use to organize resources and separate them. So you might have 5 customers, 5 clients of your business. And if you're running IT services for them, you might set them up with 5 separate subscriptions, plus your own subscription, making 6, and be able to handle the billings so that they're completely separated and no client ever gets billed for another client's resource. On screen is an example of having 3 subscriptions, one for HR, one for finance, and one for marketing. And you can see that you have different sets of services, VMs, service bus, automation, etc. under each subscription. And that's one way of separating out the billing and perhaps ensuring that the correct department gets billed for the services that they use. Recently, Azure introduced the concept of management groups. Now, this is a way of creating a hierarchy of subscriptions to organize them into a group and then to be able to roll that up into a higher group and roll that up ultimately into a top level group. So in this way, you can have many different subscriptions and you can basically not just have the IT department subscription, you could have different groups within the IT department, each having their own subscription. You can manage these things at the group level. So you can create policies, you can have reports up to that level, makes things a lot easier to manage by being able to group things in this hierarchical manner.